Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I am doing a follow-on to last week's video, and if you watched last week's video, it was a Stretch the Sketch video where I did two 9x12 layouts, and they are going back to back, and then this 12x12 layout will be going behind it with the title at the top so that it is visible when you have the 9x12s in front of it. So I cut this happy birthday words on my die cut, my digital die cut machine, and then I also cut the words Cutie Pie, and I have decided I have this stencil that looks like sprinkles, and I am going to go through the stencil with some glitter paste and give some purple, periwinkle, and green sprinkles to these white letters. So I really like how this looks at the end. This glitter paste is pretty thick, and it goes through this stencil very well, even though it has these little tiny holes in it for sprinkles. So basically it looks like sprinkles on a cupcake, which I thought was perfect for this particular layout. And this is a layout to complete my grandson's birthday photos in his album. So I did the two 9x12s last week, and each of those had 3 photos on it. This week I have 8 photos on this particular layout. So I got quite a bit done. You can see there that is the 9x12 laying down. I'm using that to make sure that I have happy birthday where I want it. And then I'm using the negative space of the cut file to make sure I get everything lined up and spaced properly and that it's straight across on my layout. So I will be removing that 9x12, but you can see it there. And I am going to kind of use the same colors and the same papers to bring a lot of continuity between the 3 pages. And I think it works out really well together, and at the end I believe I show the finished, how it looks all finished. So stick around and you'll see how it all comes together. Now I'm just using my ATG gun to go ahead and adhere these letters down. You could use some liquid glue if you want. Any of those kind of things work. Those super narrow areas I do have to use liquid glue because I don't want to rip the letter by pulling the tape runner across it. And then the words Cutie Pie I cut out of that purple, pink, and navy variegated paper. You can see it to the right there. And I really like how it looks. And I'm going to go ahead and just put it right over where it says happy birthday. It doesn't look like it's super readable on screen, but in real life you can see it just fine. And then I decided to go ahead and ink up the edges of some of these letters just to give a little bit more definition. And that's just, I think it's like Versamark or Versa ink. And I'm not even sure what color that is. So, but it did match, and I just wanted to give a little bit more definition so that you can see the words Cutie Pie on top of happy birthday. And the reason I used the words Cutie Pie is because he had pie for his birthday rather than cake. And if you watched last week's video, you know that because the last week's video focused on his pie and his experience eating his pie, whereas this week it's more about who was there and you know, what we ate and all of that kind of stuff. So there are the 8 videos. Let's not go through 8 videos right now. There are the 8 photos that I'm using. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to use them, but I wanted to lay them out there to make sure I left enough room at the bottom to include that balloon paper. And all of this paper is Chamel paper, whether it be from Sparkle City or Head in the Clouds or Field Trip. The navy blue is from Field Trip, and then the balloons are definitely Sparkle City. Those little tags I'm cutting out right now are from Head in the Clouds. So I'm using a lot of different stuff from her collections, which is what I always use in his album. Um, his his mom and I both really love her products, so that's why I just put them all into a bin, and if I'm working on his stuff, that bin is what I grab. So I know I'll probably use tags or labels because I use those frequently in my layouts, and the previous 2 pages had lots of tags and labels on them. So I want to carry a little bit of that through so that it's got, the continuity between all 3 again. And then the other 2 layouts also have a black and white stripe and a camera strip as well. So I'm making sure that I get those things on the page before I do too much more, because I want to make sure, like I said, I'm bringing all of those elements over from the previous 2 layouts so that it looks like this is not just a random layout right behind it. It looks like it's supposed to be there and goes with the other layouts. I want to make sure everything is straight because everything is straight on the other layouts as well, and I'm just using my T-square ruler to do that. I tend to prefer to have things look straight rather than cockeyed. There are times that I do embrace that tilted effect, but for the most part, I like to make sure things are straight. And then I did just ink that piece up with a color that was very similar to the paper, and that's because these papers are out of the paper pad and there's a white core to them, so when you cut them, there's a little bit of a white edge to it, and I wanted to make sure that I covered that up. Now I'm playing with the photos and trying to decide how I want them. Do I want to leave a little column down there to do some journaling in? Do I want to leave space up at the top and just have some embellishments there? And I'm just kind of moving things around, trying to figure out where things are going to go. And it kind of reminds me of one of those little puzzle games that has all the squares in it with one tile missing, where you have to make the puzzle image without taking anything out, and you just kind of like slide things around. But I end up having this kind of zigzag going down the center, so I end up really liking how this came together. This is not a style or technique or go-to design that I've ever done before, but I really end up liking how it came out. And again, I'm using my T-square ruler. I'm measuring the 2 outside photos first so that I have the space on the edges the same between the right side and the left side. And then my other 2 photos, the ones that are going to be in the center 2 columns, will get added after that. So that is kind of how I measured. If I worked from the center outward, it would be likely that I would have, I wouldn't have as much, I wouldn't have everything centered. I'd be either more right or more left. So now I'm trying to decide in that center piece, I know I'm going to leave that as a journaling block, but I don't know if I want to use the balloon paper or some of this ombre pink to purple paper. And I kind of went back and forth a little bit trying to decide, and in the end I decided to use this ombre one versus the balloons. Since I already have the balloons at the bottom, I think that if I added the balloons towards the middle, it would be a little bit too much. I don't think anybody's ever heard me say there's too much, but I think it would be a little bit too much. And especially since that's where the journaling is going to go, I wanted something that would be easily readable. And I will not be actually adding the journaling myself. That's something I'm going to leave for my daughter to do. Sometimes I do add the journaling, but most of the time I leave it for her to do, because a lot of times I am scrapbooking pictures that she is there and in, and there are things that maybe I wasn't even there for. But I was there for his birthday party, but I know she has some special things that she wants to write down for him. So I know I want to use the balloon sticker because that ties in those balloons again. And I really like how they look floating up from the bottom. And in the other 2 layouts, a lot of the tags and banner pieces and labels reside on that horizontal line of the cameras and all of that. So I'm going to start building off of that area and just keeping everything down low. And I didn't know I want to leave a little bit of white space for your eye to rest. And so those two navy blue square areas, they're going to have minimal amount of stuff in them, just so that your eye has a little spot to rest. And I really do love how this looks in the end. So you can see I'm playing there with whether I should put it in that space or if I should bring it down, and I've decided to go ahead and bring it down. I really like things in that bottom right hand corner, and I'm just going to layer up these bits and pieces. Some of them are going to be on foam tape and some of them are going to be flat. And then I'm using the light bulbs there. I'm going to cut them and bring them across and drape them like they are a birthday banner at a party. And he did in fact have a birthday banner at his party that I made for him. And that's in one of the photos, so I think it's perfect. It works really, really well that those are there. It's just a little bit of a fun element and breaks up those two squares, but you still have a little bit of spot for your eye to kind of relax in. So that is a roll of foam tape that I got from a friend of mine. It is super thin foam tape, so I have the regular fun foam, and then this is like maybe half the width or thickness of the fun foam. So it gives a little bit of dimension without giving, it gives another layer of dimension is what I should say. So you can have things at different heights, and you can buy like the dimensional foam adhesive in different heights, but because my friend gave me this and I use fun foam, it works perfectly. I didn't have to go and buy anything extra, which is nice. I can spend my money on more paper rather than on adhesive, and so that's always a fun thing. Now I've also decided to go through some of the embellishments here and pull out some various little word phrase stickers, and I apologize that I'm off screen there. For some reason I'm having trouble staying on screen, or my calendar, not my calendar, my phone is not in the right position to I don't know, to capture the bottom part. But anyway, you're not missing a whole lot. That little pink sticker at the bottom is really the last thing that's down there, and it just has, it says name on it. And then I've added this cake that I fussy cut out, and I know we didn't have cake at his birthday party, we had pie, but there are cakes on the other two layouts. Actually, one has ice cream and one has cake, and so I kind of wanted to bring that element through to this one again. And then the little stickers up in that top square say happy and together. And then I'm going to add some sequins, and I'm using sequins out of a sequin pack from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and I believe these were a custom package of sequins for the Sparkle City collection. So I don't even know if you can get this particular package of sequins anymore. So they are just like purples and pinks and navy blues, and then there's one that's kind of like an iridescent marble looking, it's not marble as in the toy marble, but it's like a marbled pink and purple, and I really love how those look. And then I'm going to pull out some stickers, the puffy hearts from Head in the Clouds, and use those around the journaling area. And that's pretty much going to complete the layout. So the close-ups will be coming up in just a few moments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button, and if you are, thank you so much for spending time with me. And here are the other two layouts with it, and I really like how it came together. Thanks a lot.